I wish to thank Mr. Capelli for his willingness to serve and for his service in government. He chose a very difficult position to accept at a very difficult time in our state's history. When I listened to his testimony and answer to my questions in the Finance Committee hearing, I like what I heard. He talked about a bloated bureaucracy. He talked about cutting it. He talked about maintaining services. He talked about making sure that the system was available for the people it was designed to serve, the public. Not an elite system, but a mass transit system. He seemed to recognize the problems, and he heard about the frustrations. And I toyed with a positive vote here on the floor, because I did like what I heard from this gentleman. However, I do believe, after thinking about it more and more, I do believe that we have to send a message to the MTA bureaucracy. We have to send a strong message that their behavior is intolerable, that the system is broken, that no one trusts this particular agency. No one. One day the books are balanced and they're in surplus. The next day they're in deficit. Right now, I understand from Mr. Capelli's testimony, they're looking for $750 million to fill a gap. The MTA tax, which was designed to prevent this from happening, apparently has failed and is not providing the revenue needed. Instead, it's costing jobs on Long Island. It's costing jobs throughout this state. We need to send a strong message to the MTA board, and I hope Mr. Capelli will carry it. I hope he will. I'll be more than willing to work with him, and I know my colleague, Senator LaValle, and the gentleman who spoke earlier will all be willing to work with him for the betterment of the ridership, the people who need the system. My constituents want to be able to get on the Long Island Railroad and travel into the city of New York or to their jobs and be able to afford it. Right now they can't. Right now they're being priced out of the system and they're being forced back into their cars, someplace we don't want them. We would rather see people riding the trains and the buses. Bus service on Long Island is an abomination. And the trains are becoming just so expensive that the average person simply can't afford it. So the reverse is happening. We want them in the mass transit, not in their cars. So I'm going to vote no on this nomination. Not because I'm opposed to Mr. Capelli, but I am opposed to the policies and the behavior of the MTA as a whole. It's got to change. And the message has to be sent loud and clear from this legislature that we will not tolerate it any longer. Enough is enough. They've got to start performing. They've got to start living within their means. They cannot be coming back looking for more and more and more money, more and more and more fee increases, more and more fare increases, and providing less and less service to the riding public. That, Madam President, is totally intolerable. So I thank you for your indulgence in allowing me to speak, but I will be voting no on Mr. Capelli's nomination.